Hola amigos, I'm going to show you how I put on a cabinet pull. So I'm going to pop my trusty laser on. I've got it all set up, right, for us. So I've got it clicking right here in the center of this particular drawer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and throw some tape real quick where I want to put my new cabinet pull, right, just approximately, and get out of my laser's way. All right guys, so I slapped on some tape here just so I've got a surface that's not the door to work on top of. And then I grabbed the center point, right? So I had like roughly under 30 inches. And so it was like 14 and 7/8. And so I marked it, and then I brought my measuring tape back from the other side, 14 and 7/8. I found it, and those are my two lines. So we're gonna split the difference on that. That's how that's gonna go. And my pen, I'm gonna make the line a little bit longer, and that's good enough for the accuracy of what I'm about to do. So you can see that lines up roughly with that guy. And then I want to point out to you too that this and this line is going to be on the same plane, this pull, but the cabinet drawer is a different plane than this one in terms of where that tops off, because this has this trim piece of this appliance here. So I'm going to stay with the continuous data line versus dropping this down the same dimension as this one. Hopefully that makes sense. So next I'm going to show you a jig. This is how you can make marks, and you can see this was set up for the other cabinets, which were going to be lower. So this particular one does have a drill option, and it's right there. So I could drill into that. It's a smaller jig, so it's not set up for these wide cabinet pulls. So you can kind of see here that jig tops off inside of that. But that's got a nice metal edge, a nice metal orifice, and you can go and drill in there over and over again. Now, the reasoning on why somebody would want to drill in the jig or not is a few different reasons. One is when you position the jig here, you've got to clamp it. And when you clamp it, you could potentially damage the drawer. You could also end up in a scenario where the clamp is not clamping it perfectly level, and so it can kind of end up doing that on you and moving. So me personally, I just like to use the jig for marking purposes, and then I like to drill separately, right? So I'm going to go ahead and use it just for marking purposes in this instance. And I'm going to use my laser line, which I just turned off because my batteries were low, so I'm going to pop it back on real quick. So, okay. All right. So here's our laser line. And I'm just going to go ahead and mark my hole locations. You line up the center point right there, which I've got, and then you just come in and you're like, bam, bam. And the reason I taped these ones is because I didn't want to make a mistake, right? It's kind of like the surgeon marking a marker on your leg before they operate. So now I've got my points, and then I'm going to make sure that they're truly lined up on the laser location. There they are. And then I'm going to take and verify this guy right here and make sure that they're actually going to line up, or if I need to tweak them at all. And I'm going to tell you right now, I need to tweak this one slightly. So that means I'm going to change my dot a little bit over here. And then this guy is going to be like right there. So that's good. And then I'm going to come in here with my hole punch tool. Here is my automatic hole punch, and this is one of my absolute favorite tools. So what this does is it allows you to make a really accurate marker for what you're about to drill into. And so I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go right here. And then I can visually look at it. That's exactly where I wanted to go. If y'all recall, I adjusted that mark slightly. Everybody has their own system, so please don't dog my system out. Whatever works for you is good. And then we're gonna take our drill. And in this case, I want to stress that I love these type of drill bits when doing this that has that nice little point on the end, because it allows you to go into that punch hole and just perfectly stay in it without having any risk of your drill doing what's called walking. So here we go. Okay, next one. And I'm not trying to go too fast when I do that because I don't want to blow out the other side of this drawer and like chip off all the material. So that's why I'm kind of going at a little slower pace, if you see that. Okay, so that's that. And then what I'll sometimes do is, just depending on the size bit that I use, sometimes I'll kind of knock it down back here and just clean up the back a little bit with the hole, just because I'm trying to get all that extra stuff off. So that's that, right? So then I'm going to grab my screws and my cabinet pull, which you got right here, and I will rip this off. So those are screws, and then we take and we just make sure that everything looks good again. Pretty good to me, so we'll see how it goes. Now we're gonna pop in the screws from the back. Okay, blow that off so you don't get the wood debris all built up in here. Then we're gonna take your small screwdriver, right, and just do it by hand. And I'm basically just coming over here, engaging with this first one. Just kind of getting it in a little bit. Right, you're just trying to get in there. Make sure you're in. We're in on both of them. So then I want to come back to this one. Kind of give each one a little bit. Okay. And then usually before I go all the way tight, that could leave some sort of imprint on the door with the pull, I kind of just close it, check it out. Make sure I visually like it. That looks good to me. Nothing really looks off to my eye, so I'm just basically performing an eye test before I cinch that up. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and just verify this with our laser for the heck of it. So I'm gonna turn that laser back on. We have done that perfectly. So again, there's lots of ways to do this. Some people love the jig, some people swear by the jig, think that's just the way to go. The other reason I don't necessarily always like the jig is there can be slight imperfections with all your reveals. And if you base the jig off of the doors or drawers themselves, that imperfection can get amplified a little bit versus if you play with the lasers and stay with the straight level and plumb lines, then at least your eye sees level and plumb and kind of disregards the negative space of the black. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, this is how I installed all these cabinet pools in this particular kitchen. And I think they look awesome. I hope y'all like them too and appreciate the video. Okay guys, so this is just how I install cabinet pools. I know there's a bunch of good ways out there and I'd love to hear about that from you. So hit me up on Instagram and look out for more videos like this headed your way. Adios amigos.